Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Champions number 2. This was probably my favorite comic last week. It was so much fun. So much fun. It was so good. So the issue starts out with all the champions around a campfire, and it turns out that Kamala has arranged this camping trip so they can get to know each other's powers a bit better, so they can put together some sick combos. And that's exactly what kids would do. They wouldn't learn out in the field like adult heroes would. They would do it in the woods where half of their powers aren't that good because they can't afford to rent out a superhero style studio. You've got Kamala that explains that her powers allow her to change her shape at will. She can grow, she can shrink, and the bigger she is, the stronger she gets. You've got Miles Morales that explains that he's got invisibility as well as all of Spider-Man's powers. And then it comes to Nova. And Hulk finds out that Nova is basically a normal person without his helmet. So he tries taking away Nova's helmet, and Kamala steps in and is like, give Nova back his little hat. And Hulk is just like, I was just goofing off. I'm sorry about taking a little hat. And Nova's just like, it's not a little hat, it's a helmet. And Viv just steps in and is like, technically, a helmet is a subsection of hat. That is the interaction I didn't know I wanted. But I did want it and I needed it. I do just want to explain something here because a lot of you might be confused. So the Hulk that you see here isn't actually Banner, it's Cho. Now Cho is the 8th most intelligent person in the world. A lot more intelligent than Banner. Because of this, when he becomes the Hulk, he's not really ape-like so much as a frat boy. And Nova does get his revenge by putting on the helmet and then basically ripping the Hulk to pieces without ripping him to pieces. Then it comes time for Hulk to show off his powers, and Kamala's like, huh, sir? How high can you jump? And then the Hulk jumps. And she did this just to get Hulk out of their hair. It was great, it's great! Then Viv explains her powers are that she can phase through objects, she has all the powers of the vision, plus she has servers inside of her, and all of them are like, so wait, does that mean you have Wi-Fi? And she's like, yes. And then they ask for her password, and they just log on to Viv. They eventually start doing trust exercises, and they're just talking around the campfire, everything is casual. Then Hulk lands again, and out of nowhere, a beam shoots out of the woods at Hulk. It turns out it's Cyclops, but when Nova attacks him, he knocks off Cyclops' visor, so everyone has to go and search. So Cyclops can put it on, and then he'll be safe to explain why the hell he just attacked Hulk, and he's like, well, I thought you guys were under attack. And then they're all just kind of like, cool, why are you stalking us? And he's like, well, I saw people talking about you, and it looks like you're not going to be doing traditional crime fighting, and I want in on this. Also, I have to say, I just love these two panels where Cho is like right up in his face and he's like, huh, so a puny guy like you thought you could beat me? And then Cyclops is just like, shoots him square in the face. So he asks if he can join the team, and then Kamala's like, well, I'm gonna have to talk this over with everyone else. And while they're all shitting on him, literally just crapping on him, they're like, well, we can't trust him, blah, blah, blah. And they're only doing this because he's a mutant. And let's face it, Kamala is an Inhuman. Inhumans and mutants are not getting along at the moment, and because of this, Kamala is just biased against him. It's only when Viv speaks up and she's like, this guy stepped in to attack something that was 8 times his size to protect us. You cannot judge him based on what his future self does, because the past self is clearly good, so they agree to let him join the team. And then he's explaining about his powers on the campfire. He says that they're stopped by this ruby quartz that Professor Xavier found. And then once they're all done, they go to try and find Viv and Cho because Viv and Cho have gone missing. And then they find them making out. Viv and Cho sitting in some trees, doing things that we can't see. But it sounds like this. Now, I've just got to say, no one is buying Champions. Sales are terrible. They're so bad to the point that Marvel actually had to re-release a trailer on their own channel about Champions number 2 after the comic had already come out. That's insane. That is insane. Marvel clearly care a lot about this team. They want it to do well, and I want it to do well. So you need to go out and buy Champions. I've put links down below to mycomicshop.com because this comic is so good, and I don't want to see another comic that I actually like get cancelled because people, for some stupid reason, aren't buying it. It's She-Hulk all over again. People have problems with the art in Champions, and I really like this art. People had problems with the art in She-Hulk, and I really liked that art. She-Hulk was super underappreciated. It was such a good book. It was such a good book, but no one was reading it for no reason other than, just the art isn't to my taste. Fuck the art, the story was brilliant. Seriously, read Champions, because if you're not reading it, you are missing out big time. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. So what did you think of Champions number 2? Please let me know in the comments down below, and also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more history videos, and also don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, support the show by checking out my Patreon if you want to see bigger and better and more history videos, and also don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel. But my name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective. Not fine, fucking Champions, probably just people.